Yo, what's going on? Kamikaze Soundwaves here, and I'm here to talk about our old friend, the Switch Lite. So, I got the Switch Lite on the day that it was released. I thought it looked so cool. I thought the idea of it being a portable only Switch didn't bother me, and I thought it was fantastic. So I already have a normal Switch, and that Switch was basically for my kids. Now, I don't really play Nintendo games. I always felt Nintendo was always just a secondary console, and their games would always be a secondary game for me to play while I'm playing my main game. And I also didn't play our Switch that much because mostly my kids always took it over, so I really never got a chance to play with it. And you know what? That was okay with me because I didn't feel like I'd play with it that much anyway. But when this was announced and it was coming out, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I would play the Switch more. There are some games coming out and a few games on it that I really kind of want to play, so I feel like just getting a Switch Lite is going to work best for me. So that's what I did, and I picked this up. Now I will say, after having this Switch Lite has made me completely rethink how this console is. Now, it's made me appreciate the Switch a lot. Like, I've actually been playing this a lot more than I think that I intended to. A lot of the Nintendo games that I was like, you know, whatever, it'll just be a little fun game that I'll play here and there. I've been playing a lot of those. And I gotta tell you that there is a ton of games on Nintendo Switch. Tons and tons. The eShop at this point is almost like Steam. I mean, there are tons and tons of indie games, AAA games, third-party games, and of course, Nintendo games. So I've actually liked using this thing so much that I actually ended up buying a full-fledged Switch for myself. Let me explain. So I felt a lot of times when I was playing this works. Now I want to go ahead and get that out of the way. The way that you initially are supposed to play it like this, it works, but not for every game. Indie games, Super Mario World, you know, easygoing games, adventure games, you know, where you're not so intensive with button presses and all that stuff, it works. If you move up to anything like a first-person shooter or anything like that, it's just not so great. Anything that's really, you know, intensive where you having to move a lot around, it doesn't feel as great. I felt like what I found myself doing a lot with the Switch Lite was finding every way possible to not play it like this. I bought this FlexiView thing from Walmart to set in, which I made a video on, that it goes in there and I could just play it and sync my controller into it. I found myself a lot of times propping this up, syncing a controller to it, playing it that way. I bought this little dock thing, which is essentially made for the dock. That's what I bought it for, but I could also put my Switch Lite in it, so like this, so I wouldn't have to find something to prop it up. I bought this really awesome controller to go with my Switch Lite. So again, I kept trying to find different ways to play the Switch Lite other than this. So I came to a conclusion: just get a Switch, because that's what this does in the first place. I can play on my TV, I can play with my controller, I can play in tabletop mode. Not only does it have this, which the Switch Lite doesn't, but still you could prop it up if that broke off. But my whole point remains is I could do all the things that I was trying to do with the Switch Lite and just do it with this. And you know what else it still does? It still does this. Again, also when we bought our initial Switch, we bought a second dock with it right when we bought it. So I already had a second dock. I bought 2 pairs of Joy-Cons, so we already have those. Plus I already have this controller. So I didn't go out and buy a full-fledged Switch. I actually just bought the tablet part off of eBay. Someone was selling it for 160 bucks. And it's in great condition. It's the old model, but it works just fine for me. So essentially what this is for me, this is nothing but my dock system at this point. Now, do not get me wrong, this thing is still awesome and it's still amazing, and I'm not trying to downgrade it in any way. I still absolutely love this thing, and I do think it's a great purchase, and I do think it's great for what it is. But not really having a Switch and this being the first one made me want more out of it, which was initially, you know, what would be the normal Switch. The screen on this thing is amazing. The buttons on it and everything are great, again, but not for every game. With this, you can do everything that can do plus more for $100. So I will continue to use both of these, and here's my plan going forward. This will essentially only be my dock system. The Joy-Cons are on here just to show it the effect, but basically just the tablet part will stay in the dock, and it's never really going to come out. That is my dock system. This will be for when I want to play in handheld mode, because again, it does work good for handheld mode. Same way this was, it feels identical, just bigger. So this still works fantastic for handheld mode. The only dumb thing is when you're playing the same game, you can't obviously play at the same time, which I completely understand that. But let's say that I was playing on my TV with this, and I got to a certain point in the game, and I stopped, and I wanted to pick it up right here on my handheld, which you absolutely can do that, but you have to do download your save data from here. So it's very quick, it's very easy. I just don't understand how Nintendo couldn't make it instant, but Nintendo is Nintendo, so whatever. So essentially I finished on my TV. I'm gonna pick this up. All I gotta do is before I walk out the door, because you have to be connected to Wi-Fi obviously, or some kind of internet, just go to the games option and you can just download up your data. Now I will tell you that it's very quick. It takes less than usually 30 to 40 seconds most times. And it will tell you if you need to back up your data. And again, if you were playing on this on the go and you need to come back and you want to pick up your game on this on your TV, yes, you'd have to do the same thing. Click on the menu on that game and download your save data. Again, as long as you're connected to the internet, it usually takes about 15-30 seconds for every game. I really hope Nintendo patches that and fixes that in the future, but I highly doubt they will. But if they could, that would be fucking amazing. Again, I'm not shitting on the Switch Lite. I love it. I think it's a fantastic handheld, and I think it does great for so many things. It made me like it so much that I wanted more out of it, but there's only so much more out of this I can get without getting a full-fledged Switch, which is what I did. So if you're in the market for a Switch and you don't have either, you know, this could work for you, and all your needs and what you need. But that $100 more to get everything that this can do plus more, it's hard for me to sit here and vouch for this anymore with having both. I feel like if you're gonna have to have one, this is the one to have. Again, a great, fantastic, light, very capable handheld that plays all the Switch games there and more. Some games you can't play, limitations on some with no rumble, you'll miss out on some features. So, you know, you're just missing out on some things with this one. Not a lot, but you are missing out on some things on this one. And again, I know having both of these is a completely unnecessary luxury, but I like having both of these. I feel like this is the best part for handheld, and this is the best part for having, you know, every other option that could possibly be, especially obviously with the TV part. So these are my thoughts on the Switch Lite. Do I regret buying one? Absolutely not. It's fantastic. I wanted so much more out of it. I just did a little bit more and went ahead and get that full-fledged Switch. Dealer's choice on you, really what works best for you. I just hope with this video I helped you make a better sound decision if you were in the market for one of these and you already had a Switch, or if you didn't have neither and you didn't know which way you were headed. But after having this being my only primary system, I felt like that full-fledged Switch is really just the way to go. Still a fucking awesome ass handheld though. So this is Kamikaze Soundwaves. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Much obliged, and I will catch you out over in the next one. Later.